Hello 3R. I'm recording this on Thursday, so we've actually just finished our chat and I kind of previewed what's coming this week, but just to have it in video format if you need it. We're going to be in chapter 26, which is called America in a World at War. 25 and 26 both. Chapter 25, which you should have turned in the questions on Friday, hopefully. Cover the 1920s up to Pearl Harbor, and then 26 goes Pearl Harbor into the end of the war in 1945. So it's all about how America deals with the war. As I mentioned in the chat, it does get us out of the Depression. The Depression ends, people are back to work, and in large numbers because we are supplying the Allied forces with armaments, with tanks, with food, with everything that they needed. Britain, France, Soviet Union were decimated by World War II, so the United States stepped in and filled that gap. I will talk about technology in the chapter, breaking some of the codes, which was mentioned in the chat this morning. I believe that was Mr. Norman. Thank you, Mr. Norman. Also, Japanese internment is brought up. That's certainly a black spot on the American effort in World War II, why we didn't deal with the Holocaust or didn't attack the concentration camps during World War II. That's going to be the subject of our discussion board for the week, asking about, what was the reasoning behind not going into those camps. We liberated some of those camps, but we did not attack or bomb those camps, and why not, and should we have? That's what the discussion board is talking about. There are different theaters of World War II. There's a European theater centered around, D-Day and even Italy. There's the African theater, which is where the United States fights first. We actually lose some battles in Africa in 42 before driving the Germans out of Africa in 43. And then there's the Pacific Front, which is against the Japanese, and the strategy is known as island hopping, of attacking key islands, leading to Japan. The first big victory in the Pacific theater is Midway in 1942. And then the famous battles of like Iwo Jima and Okinawa. And it was those battles and those losses where we're losing 50,000 soldiers in a battle that one of the reasons it led to the usage of the atomic bomb. And that's going to be what we're going to talk about in our chat this week. I've uploaded several documents and one article, which I believe has some typos in it too, for you to look at about whether or not it was justified and whether we should have used the atomic bomb to to lead to Japanese surrender. There's a lot of opinions on both sides. Both sides, I've always said that it was proper to use it, but there's a lot of evidence that you could argue against that. So that's what we're going to be talking about in our chat this week. We had a better chat today. In that I heard everybody. I still would like to hear more. Again, the expectations. Harkness discussions in a remote setting are not going to be like in the classroom, but we could do better. We can always do better. We can always work, and I'm trying to give you documents that are going to stimulate that conversation. So please help me out. Again, those chats we did individually were fine. It's just people talking. So please do that. Turn in your assignments, do the discussion boards, prep the chats. I will send you a DBQ at probably sometime this week. Be looking for that, and then we can talk about that in our chat too, because if I'm going to send you the one I'm thinking of, there are a lot of different sources, a lot of different angles you can take on answering the question. So more on that in our chat next week. These chapter 26 questions are going to be due on Tuesday the 19th. So we're back to due dates on Tuesday after a few weeks of different due dates. I hope you guys have a good week. I hope you're staying healthy, social distancing, and taking care of yourself. I miss you, and I can't wait to talk to you next Thursday. Take care of yourself.